The relationship between the United States and Ukraine has taken a dramatic turn following recent statements by President Donald Trump. Trump's remarks, in which he labeled Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator and accused him of manipulating the U.S. into supporting Ukraine's war effort, have sent shockwaves through the international community. His comments have aligned closely with Russian narratives, raising concerns among European allies and U.S. policymakers. Tensions between Washington and Kyiv have been escalating in recent weeks. The exclusion of Ukraine from high-level talks between the U.S. and Russia was a significant diplomatic shift, signaling a move away from the previous U.S. stance of unwavering support for Ukraine. President Trump's subsequent assertion that Ukraine started the war, despite overwhelming evidence that Russia was the aggressor, further strained the already fragile relationship. In response to these developments, President Zelensky expressed frustration and concern, stating that Trump appeared to be influenced by misinformation. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine has relied on U.S. support in its fight against Russian aggression, and warned that disengagement by the U.S. could have severe consequences, not only for Ukraine, but for global stability. Trump's claims, including that Zelensky canceled elections to maintain power, and that Ukraine has misled the U.S. into financial and military support, have been widely disputed. While Ukraine postponed its elections due to the ongoing war and martial law, consistent with its constitution, Trump has characterized this as authoritarian behavior. The Kremlin has quickly seized upon Trump's statements, with Russian officials praising his stance. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev called Trump 200% right and referred to Zelensky as a bankrupt clown, further fueling the propaganda narrative that Ukraine's leadership is illegitimate. The shift in U.S. policy has raised alarms across Europe. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak reaffirmed his support for Zelensky, emphasizing that Ukraine remains a democratic nation fighting against an invasion. European leaders fear that without U.S. backing, Ukraine may struggle to sustain its defense against Russia, potentially leading to significant territorial losses and a shift in the balance of power in the region. Moreover, Trump's rhetoric could signal broader implications for U.S. alliances. If European nations perceive the U.S. as an unreliable partner, they may seek alternative security arrangements. This could lead to closer ties between Europe and China, as well as increased military spending independent of U.S. influence. Trump's stance on Ukraine marks a significant departure from the traditional U.S. foreign policy of supporting democratic nations against authoritarian threats. For decades, the U.S. has positioned itself as the primary defender of liberal democracy, particularly in Europe. This recent shift could redefine America's role on the global stage and lead to long-term strategic consequences. As the world watches these developments unfold, one key question remains: how will Ukraine, Europe, and other U.S. allies adapt to an America that appears increasingly disengaged from its traditional commitments? If U.S. support for Ukraine continues to diminish, the geopolitical landscape may shift dramatically, with lasting implications for global security.